gun. You son of a bitch.
Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid? The excitement of walking down the aisle, scanning the names in the artwork using your thermal vision, and finally picking out the movie you were going to take home with you. Sure, it's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about making that trip, picking a movie out by hand, and singing You've Lost That Loving Feeling to the attractive lady working at Brothers.
Oh, no.
Hey, sorry, I didn't change that. If that doesn't ring a bell, listen to our last episode. Top Gun. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. I'm your host, Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes who ain't got time to bleed, Sean Pryor and AJ Vance. How the heck are ya?
You right.
I do have time to duck, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
I gotta say, if I was cut open by the Predator blade, like how he guts people, all that would come out is eggs and ham and pan. I am, oh boy.
And Cedar Ridge single malt.
Yes.
We made the mistake of going to brunch at Cedar Ridge this morning. We'll talk about that more later.
We'll get there.
We'll see how this episode goes. Sudson has begun.
Oh, can't
Yeah.
wait.
So, boys, what do you say we introduce today's movie?
I think we should.
Please.
On this episode, we discuss a movie that spawned 5 sequels, as well as comic books, video games, novels, board games, and more. A movie that really started Arnold Schwarzenegger down a path to worldwide fame. A movie that, believe it or not, produced 3 gubernatorial campaigns. Only 2 were successful. We are, of course, talking about 1987's Predator.
Uh-huh.
Confused breakfast!
For those looking to find this movie, as of the recording of this episode, mid-May 2022, I think it's only for purchase. You have any luck on that? Looks like Amazon, maybe Prime.
Yeah, I think you have to kind of buy this one.
I think you got to buy this.
I had
one.
to pay on Prime for it.
We had to pay for.
I
this
broke out
movie.
my Blu-ray dogs.
Did you?
Yeah, no. Yeah. You can get that for like $5.
Yeah,
somewhere.
so it's like, do you want to not have to leave your house? Then rent it.
Yeah.
If you want to leave your house, go buy it for cheap.
On
Yeah.
forever. Yeah.
That's a tough debate. Damn.
You get special features.
Well, in order to properly dissect and review this movie with a modern eye, we must first discuss it with pure nostalgia. AJ, tell us how you felt the first time you saw this movie and what your rating is of this thing.
Dude, this movie, this was not TBS. It was not TNT. It was USA.
USA up all night.
USA Network up all night. I'm telling you, and you always heard, we now return to Predator. Featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger, or featuring Carl Weathers, but he'd already died by now. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I watched this on TV. I'm taking it back to our very first episode, boys. I caught it like 25 minutes in,
100%.
and I didn't even see anything of them. Like there was no recollection or like no reasoning as to why this Predator even existed. There's nothing. I just like, it just exists in jungles in South America. Okay, sounds good. So, but I loved the movie. It was Arnold. It was super fun. I just thought Carl Weathers was just Apollo again. And that's how I remember this. And I would just watch it with one of my brothers, and we would catch it on that tiny tube TV on USA Network. Giving it that, I didn't need the first 25 minutes to give this a 7.8.
Nice.
7.8 for AJ. Nostalgic. Sean, what about you, man?
This is kind of the one of the movies like in the realm of Terminator and stuff like that, where I was watching rated R movies way too young, but they still made toys for all these movies for some reason.
Yeah.
This is
Good point.
Before my trench coat days, so it was just I just like had all the toys and everything like that, and yeah, man, like I watched it with my dad, I think, and I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger because I was super into Terminator and everything that he was in. Back then, I'd probably have to say I was probably a 6.
Sixer? I'm right there with you, Sean. I am a straight 6.
Nice.
Nostalgic on this. Again, never knew that the first 20-something minutes of this movie happened.
Yeah.
Just it was
I'm
always.
glad I'm not alone.
I never rented this movie. It was always TV, and so things were cut out. There were commercials. It was good enough to watch when it came on.
Yeah.
But it was never good enough to like seek out to be like, I need to watch this whole movie. I need to buy this. We need to have this in our catalog. It was just a little spooky there.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
I
surprised
agree
you
with
didn't talk
you.
about the little spooky parts, man.
I did. I left it out, but I will agree with you. Very spooky.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
So nostalgically, I'm a 6. Our executive producer for today, Tyler Dark. Here's what his nostalgic rating is. He says, what can I say? It's The Predator.
Yep.
This was an absolute classic for everyone, including myself growing up. Tons of great action and the usual Arnold one-liners, and even a bit of otherworldly spookiness. A crazy cast of some of the most beefed up guys of all time. Of the time, The Predator is filled with so much testosterone and bullets, it'll have you feeling like a goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus. This movie is a near and dear one for me. This franchise and the Alien one were some of my favorites growing up, so my nostalgic review is going to have to be a solid 8.5.
Nice.
So if you take all of us into consideration, we are a 7.07 for a nostalgic rating, which gets us pretty high. I mean, it's right below Basketball.
Whoa.
Right above Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Is where we are nostalgically feeling about this movie.
Dang.
Predator and Ghostbusters double feature would be pretty
That'd be pretty good.
badass.
Be pretty legit.
Yeah.
Pretty good. But nostalgic is not what we're here for. We're here for the modern day critical review. So Sean's going to take us through the pertinent, important movie details before we actually dive into this scene by scene. What do you got, Sean?
We got produced by John Davis, Larry Gordon, and Joel Silver himself. Written by Jim and John Thomas. They are brothers. They look exactly the same. Music by Alan Silvestri. Cinematography by Donald McAlpine. Edited by Mark Heldrich and John F. Link. Special makeup effects by Tom Woodruff Jr. of Pumpkinhead. He did the Santa Claus and It. Creature design by Stan Winston. Directed by John McTiernan, director of Die Hard and such other films that are amazing for the 80s.
Hell yeah.
Cast: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Elpida Carrillo, Bill Duke, Jesse Ventura, Sonny Landham, Richard Chavez, R.G. Armstrong, Kevin Peter Hall, and Shane Black. After the success of Rocky IV, there was a joke.
Were you looking at Roman numerals?
Yes. I can't do it. I won't learn it. I don't care.
You combine that with an analog clock, Sean is lost.
I have to have digital, dude. After the success of Rocky IV, there was a joke circulating that Rocky had run out of earthly opponents to beat up, and that he would have to fight an alien species next. Jim and John Thomas took inspiration from that idea and wrote a script for Predator, then called Hunters, in which several alien species were the focus. They narrowed it down to one killing machine hunting the most dangerous game: man, military man.
Ooh.
The writing duo had trouble at first finding anybody interested in the script, eventually sliding the script under 20th Century Fox door, and it eventually landing in the hands of Jill Silver. Silver liked the script, wanting to turn it into a big-budget action film, and thought it would be a perfect vehicle for Commando star Arnold Schwarzenegger, who he had worked with previously on Commando.
Yeah,
Originally, the story involved just the character of Dutch, but it was Schwarzenegger's idea to add more characters as a team rather than just one man. He was really he wanted to do a movie kind of like The Magnificent Seven or like The Wild Bunch, where there's a group of people trying to survive this one moment. And so it was his idea to come up with that.
So, but I think in the back of Arnold's head, he's probably just like, hey, you should bring in other people so I look better. They're all going to, do what they do, but I look better.
Who am I going to match my pythons with, Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast as the Predator.
That's so weird to me.
Wanting a more agile ninja-like character for the physical prowess of the ultimate killer. However, Van Damme was way, way too short than the rest of the cast, and producers quickly realized they wanted a more domineering presence for the role.
It's like casting Tom Cruise as Alien. It's like, what are you talking about?
Replacing Van Damme was 7'2" actor Kevin Peter Hall, who we know as Harry and the Hendersons as Harry.
It died way too soon.
Way too soon.
Yeah.
He we'll get to it later. He has a little cameo as himself later on in the movie.
Oh.
The film began principal photography and Palahniuk, Chiapas, Mexico in 1986. Most of the film was shot in Mismalia, Mexico. Predator was pretty grueling to shoot, both physically demanding, among other things, like not wanting to drink the water or eat the food that Mexico had to offer. As apparently the hotels that all the cast were staying in, the water was very, very tainted, and no one had told them, and so a lot of people got really sick, and it ended up
Montezuma's revenge, man.
Yeah, it ended up having like John McTiernan like lose like I think it was like 20 pounds or something like that, just because he didn't eat or drink really
He was
anything.
too scared.
Yeah. Along with the days being hot, the nights were cold, and filming was a challenge for the crew because they were never filming on flat land. Most of the water scenes involved a lot of mud and leeches. Kevin Peter Hall could not see out of his makeup and mask, so the actor had to rehearse his scenes and memorize his movements. The actor stated, "It wasn't a movie; it was a survival story for us all."
Wow.
Like, I mean, there was like behind the scenes of him just like by trailers, like where all the actors hang out and everything and rehearse, and he has his whole get up on, and he's moving around, but knowing he can't see, especially like in a parking lot, would be like, yeah, that's fine, I could probably do that, but in a
real
jungle, impossible, it almost seems. The first incarnation of the Predator was a disappointment, to say the least, resembling a skinny, ungainly creature with yellow eyes and a dog-like head. The producers eventually went with the Stan Winston design.
Yeah, Stan Winston was the creation of what the Predator looks like, right?
Yeah, he was actually on a plane with James Cameron when he got the call to do this movie, and he was like doing some sketches, and he was looking up like Rastafarian warriors, and so that kind of was an inspiration for him too. And James Cameron sitting right next to me, he's like, "I've always wanted to see a creature with mandibles," so he's like, "Okay." And he just made the Predator.
I guess so.
Released on June 12th, 1987, Predator opened at #1 in the box office, making $12 million its first weekend. With a budget of $15 million, the film would go on to make $98.3, spawn several sequels and reimaginings, and earn an Oscar nomination for Best Visual Effects. And that is what I got so far.
I found it when I was just looking through the cast and stuff like that. So 1987 was it contained 2 movies. Not just one, 2 movies with Arnold and Jesse Ventura in it. Because Running Man was the same year.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus.
So awesome.
I love it.
2 future
Dude,
governors.
that is a double feature.
Wow.
Oh, I can't wait to see where this lands. If it lands next to it, we are doing it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to carve some time out here. We need more Patreon support and sponsors if we're going to be able to find all this time to do these double features.
I know. I can't wait, though.
We'll do a live thing or something.
Yeah, maybe, right?
I have faith in them. They'll come through for us.
Well, speaking of sponsors, before we move on to AJ's review and rating segment, I'm going to give you a personal review of our sponsor, Felix Gray. So I was gone this entire weekend, and I forgot to bring my Felix Gray glasses with me. In case you don't know what Felix Gray glasses are, they make blue light filtering glasses that filter out all the harmful blue light that hits our eyeballs constantly all day long. These glasses are amazing at doing this, and I've gotten used to it over the last, 3 months now that we've all had these pairs.
Yeah.
So because I was used to them, then it becomes normal. And I don't realize how effective these glasses are. I'm just like, oh, this is normal life, right? This is totally fine. So when I forgot them this weekend, I immediately had the worst headache all weekend long. I was on a computer and my phone the whole time. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Why am I sick or something? It's like, oh no. It's because I was laying in bed both nights, watching movies on my phone really close to my face without my Felix Grays. And, I wasn't sleeping. It's amazing, if you get used to something and you take it away, how then you realize, oh, man, those are great. And so, seriously, I got home, I put them on last night, and it was like, I immediately felt better. And that's just seriously a personal testimony. I mean, these glasses they're stylish, they're affordable, they look like completely normal eyewear. I had my blue blockers also, the classic blue blockers. Those don't look like normal eyewear, and I highly doubt they do as good of a job filtering out blue light like these guys do. People don't even know you're wearing special filtering glasses. You'll be glad you did, and you'll be glad you bought them when you realize all the negative effects that blue light has on you. So check them out, FelixGray.com/confused. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/confused. Non-prescription, prescription, readers available, free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. You got to go do it.
Do it.
Just go check it out. Yeah.
See clearly now, the future.
See clearly, the rain is gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Feel less
Feel the bird.
Felix Gray.
Felix.
Well, AJ, please save this and
You bet.
take us into the reviews and ratings. What do you got, man?
We are always here, and I can't wait to share this with you. We got to give you the tomato meter.
Gross!
Not a splat.
Bring that splat back,
Yes.
baby.
Nice.
Because we are heading into certified fresh land.
Finally.
yeah, we
I thought
are.
we ruined it.
80%, baby. We ain't ruining
We're
nothing.
out, man. Thankfully.
So we've done nearly 70-something movies. That's 21 on the list. That is right below Lethal Weapon, right above GoldenEye.
Wow.
Per the critics.
Wow.
Okay.
Above GoldenEye.
Right
and
above
you said
GoldenEye, right below Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. Okay. Checks out for me.
Checks out for me.
Checks out. Audiences were in agreement, 87%,
Nice.
given a little bit more credit where it's due, they felt. 7.8 is IMDb.
That's a popular spot we've been doing here. We've got a bunch of 7.8s. Here they are: Ghostbusters, Breakfast Club, Goonies, Sandlot, Predator. Those are all 7.8s.
That
on
seems
IMDb.
to be their like 5 for us or
Yeah.
something like that. You know, like they really liked it, but it's not a masterpiece.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've got some critical reviews here, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and then we'll get to where the top is.
Started from the bottom.
Now we hit. Los Angeles Times gave this a 10 out of 100.
Fuck.
I know 10 sounds good, but not when it's out of 100.
Out of 100. I was
I thought
like,
you were starting at the bottom.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say, fuck yeah, dude. And then no.
And then I couldn't say it.
Michael Wilmington said, it's arguably one of the emptiest, feeblest, most derivative scripts ever made as a major studio movie. There's no need to do a Mad Magazine movie parody of this. It's already on the screen.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
The San Francisco Chronicle's Peter Stack, he said he was 50 out of 100. The movie, a rather pointless thing when you get down to it, has little of the provocative intelligence that was found in Terminator, but at least it's self-propelling in terms of suspense and cheap thrills. By the way, these are 1987 reviews too.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Yes, good to know,
So
good to know.
good to understand. How about you know what? I will give you Dave Kerr because Chicago Tribune. He's always here
He's
for us
here.
when we need him, right?
The
But
curse.
My dad.
the curse of Chicago Tribune. He said McTiernan. This is a 50 out of 100. McTiernan, regrettably, seems more interested in spectacle than suspense, and the attack sequences are filmed for splashy visual impact. And an apocalyptic finale that raises the anti-war message to the nuclear level is more than McTiernan's metaphor can bear. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Davey.
Roger Ebert coming in to save us all.
Here's
Raji,
Rajeebs.
75 out of 100. Moves at a breakneck pace. It has strong and simple characterizations. It has good location photography and terrific special effects, and it supplies what it claims to supply: an effective action movie.
You got it right.
You got
I
it.
like it, Raj.
You gotta love it. How about a 10 out of 10? I haven't done a 10 out of 10 fan review in a long time, but this is entitled "Payback Time." Cut.
Excuse me.
Action. Payback Time. 2 words said by one man of legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger. Rescue team. This is already hard to get through. That's what I felt for this movie, to pay back respect for one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. I have to say that the entire rescue team, led by Arny and Rocky's opponent Carl Weathers, was excellent and sometimes hilarious, guys, because they make you smile too. They make you smile too sometimes, with some excellent comments said during the movie. This is probably John McTiernan's greatest movie, although Die Hard was good too. But this movie remains unique for its style, suspense, and a great sense to entertain you. 1987 was surely a year where Predator has to be remembered. Because it was made in 1987.
No, when I think of 1987, I think of Predator.
You know,
Yeah,
I think Predator. How about you guys?
Yeah, me too. I'm more 1992.
That sounds like a conversation you have in like a garage with some buddies, like drinking cold beers. Like what do you guys think about 1987? I don't know. Predator was good.
Predator's pretty good, man.
Last one for it. 4 out of 10. Why is everyone so moist? Literally everyone in this movie was constantly wet and shiny. It was distressing. I'm horrified beyond belief. A squad of shiny men bumbles around in the jungle, and that's all you need to know. Would watch again, but only for the Predator, my beloved.
What?
He's got a thing for
He's got a thing for
Kevin Peter.
7'2",
Wow.
Rastafarian looking.
Did you say he? Was
Alien.
that a he? Who? What's the name of that person?
That,
in the
that
review?
oh, I'm sorry. That was falafel for the soul.
Of course.
You know, there's two things I love in life: falafel and Predator.
When you combine the two, you're in for a good night.
I like those too. No, I love them.
Cut to that person's bedroom. Predator comes on the scene and they're rubbing falafel all over their body.
Just crumbling all over them.
Oh,
Tzatziki.
that's not tzatziki.
That's not tzatziki, baby.
Gross.
He has like lasers for like a light show or something like that. 3 triangle come down like all over him. He's like,
I just think we could.
Just an ecstasy.
I'm into it.
I think a new segment should be on our TikTok. It should be like us reenacting the person that's actually writing these reviews. It's them sitting on a beanbag chair going, I didn't like the movie.
Yeah. This isn't even that good. If you ask me.
Worst movie ever made.
And then you've got Falafel 9000, Falafel Fan 11. That's just like sipping white wine and then eating falafel while he types this.
They're going to love
They're going
this.
to love this. Dipping it. Go ahead.
Well, boys, what do you say we throw in a giant dip, grab Old Painless, and get to the choppa?
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that we are sexual tyrannosauruses and we ain't got time to bleed.
That's right.
Here we go.
Yes.
Woo! An alien spacecraft deploys a shuttle to Earth. Meanwhile, Dutch, a Vietnam War veteran, and his military rescue team consisting of Mac, Poncho, Blaine, Billy, and Hawkins arrive to a military base and are tasked with the rescuing a foreign cabinet minister and his aide from insurgents. CIA officer Dylan, a Vietnam War buddy of Dutch's, is assigned to accompany the team. AJ, how surprising was it for you to see an actual alien spacecraft enter the Earth's atmosphere?
I had no idea. I'm dead serious, dude. Have you ever seen this?
Never. I was trying to figure out the moment that I actually was like, okay, I recognize this. We're to the point where they've already gotten off the chopper into the jungle.
Yes.
Not arriving.
Correct.
But into the jungle is when I'm finally like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yep.
Yeah.
It passed the whole Dylan, you son of a bitch. Like past
Son of a
everything.
bitch.
You son of a bitch. It's like, and they implode essentially. Past all that, past everything, they are in the jungle, and I think maybe getting to the first chopper.
Oh yeah.
So getting to the chopper.
The first chopper.
The first chopper.
It opens up like almost exactly like The Thing does, and which I hope we really get to in this lifetime of the show, because it starts in space and a UFO flies by the camera and crash lands on Earth, and that's exactly how this
That's
started.
just it.
I forget when The Thing came out, but I don't know if anybody took from that or not. But it's cool.
It's not like, so I have no problem with it, I guess, like seeing it this time around. But you see a ship go past like Earth, I guess, and then it drops something off and then leaves.
Yeah.
And so that is where I kind of wish we could have gotten a little bit more context, where it's like, oh yeah, we just like dropped out our space toilets onto the planet and then bailed. Could we just get a little bit more context?
Do any of
You
the
know?
other Predators, because I have not seen any of the other Predators,
Some of
does that
them-
start to dive into this a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
They especially the AVP movies, I think, and I think Predator 2 does. Predator 2 actually watched more than I did
Okay.
this movie.
Okay.
Because there's a lot more Predator in it.
Right,
There's
right.
only like 13 minutes of screen time for
8
8
There's
minutes?
8
8
minutes
minutes?
of screen time for the Predator. in
because
this
he
movie.
looks so cool.
Yeah.
And like I want to see him the whole time. But I mean, thankfully we get Arnold and the
I
rest
mean,
of the crew. But
These dudes, I mean, they could not have put together a better group of just absolutely ripped human being specimens.
absolutely.
Ragtag, awesome humans.
I'm pretty
Like,
sure-
just badasses.
Yeah.
Arnold, like one of his stipulations to do a movie is he has to have a cigar. and I'm sure he brings his own. You know, because like I don't know if I can think of a movie where he's not smoking a cigarette. Like Kindergarten Cop, maybe.
I'm sure. I
Maybe?
think he is in the beginning.
I would imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's a badass in the beginning, then he's got to be like,
You know me. I love my cigars.
yeah.
He's got to clean up. He got Carl Weathers smoking
Did he
cigars
really?
from this movie because he kept offering them to Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers doesn't smoke. He's like Carl Weathers is like an athlete.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Right.
he was like a pro athlete. Then you ever seen Rocky 2? You ever seen Rocky 3?
Dude, even in
Dude's
this movie.
yoked.
Yeah, he was yoked in this
I
movie.
He was
mean-
like leaning up against a tree and his fucking abs were sticking out. I'm like, damn,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. They lead him where he's going. Like they're on point for him wherever he's going for his abs.
His abs are heat seekers.
Yeah, they are. But he was like he doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink a ton. Like he doesn't do a lot. But Arnold kept offering him. He took one, and then like later on,
Evelyn.
yeah,
No, just smoke it.
Just
No,
that one.
don't inhale it.
have one with me. And then eventually he just gave a box to Carl Weathers,
And
and
I'm
then
sure they were very
rest-
good
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
The box is worth like $10,000. Yeah.
Think about Arnold at this point. So 1987 Arnold, he does Predator, and that starts an absolute mega run for Arnold. From 87 to 91, he does Predator, Running Man, Twins, Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, Terminator 2.
Damn, dude.
wow.
That's like one a year of just gigantic movies.
And then even
Yeah.
after that, too. It's like Last Action Hero,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure, is after that. And, I mean, you can kind of drop off a little bit, but
Dude, it
those are
appear-
classics, all of those.
He was like 40 in this movie too.
Really?
Was he really?
Here, let me look this up because I feel like I heard that somewhere. When was Arnold born? Arnold is 74 years old. This movie came out in 87.
87.
He was born in 47. He was 40 years old. I'm going to turn 40 this summer.
Wow.
And I could never ever be what Arnold is and like how perfect of an athletic specimen he is
That's
in this
insane.
It's
thing. He was
ridiculous.
40 in this movie.
40 years old. And I'm to be honest, you do when you talk about him even going to like Running Man and to like his movies beyond this, you're right. He actually looks kind of young
Yeah.
comparatively. So that's crazy.
Definitely.
Man.
I mean, he had training equipment sent in to his bungalow, wherever he was staying. He worked out
They
every
all
day.
had to have, didn't all of them?
Carl Weathers, I think, like he went off on his own and would like train by himself. He had like some sort of like weird competition within him to like
To be the
to look
strongest.
the best. Like
He-
even like when he had his vest open, like you could see his abs and everything. Like,
He wanted them to be like no, this is a natural thing for me.
yeah,
Guys.
yeah, exactly.
This
That's
is natural.
Oh
okay?
yeah, that's right.
All this, it's all natural.
And I also heard that like Jesse Ventura would
Yeah.
go. He would go like 5 minutes before anyone else would arrive, and he would dump like water all over him, so it looked like he'd been working out for an hour.
What a weird like complex
know.
of all these dudes. Like-
That's like me coming to AJ's house 2 minutes early, but like coming into the basement and having my shit set up, and I'm sweating. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I've been down here for 2 hours taking notes for Predator, you guys.
trying to get everything ready.
I'm just showing I go harder than you guys.
Mike, it's just a movie.
Just calm down, man.
No one cares. Jesus.
All right, let's talk about it.
Oh.
The handshake to end all worlds. It looks like two pythons wrapped up in each other trying to like fight for the same mouse or something. Or
Yeah.
like if you watch one of those stag porns, like if two like, you know, a 2-on-1 video, you guys know. Like if they got all tangled up, all veiny and slick and everything, it looks. Someone else take over.
The frame he did not have to do that with the frame of the shot, but he did. And it's so important that you son of a bitch, and like
The slap.
the slap and the just perfect framing of their muscles, and it holds just a little too long.
And yeah,
It's
way
like-
too long. And like
Okay.
And then
When
it
it-
becomes like this competition type
Yes.
thing that they do. It's like arm wrestling in midair. Like that's what they're
I don't know if
doing.
it's like in the audio or anything like that, but when they do that and they're battling, I think I can hear leather stretching. I don't know if that's just in my mind, like rope kind of tightening.
yeah.
But like producer Jeremy just showed us a video before we started. It's called like that whatever official handshake of Predator, and it's like when they slap hands, an explosion, a nuclear explosion happens in the background. from like 2012, the movie 2012.
Yeah, it makes
It's
sense.
like when I think I talked about that in one of the last episodes, the Thunder in Paradise handshake.
Yes.
It's like it's that, but the Thunder in Paradise one, they didn't actually. They just held their hands together and did thumbs up. I mean, like if you want to get into this movie, we're there. Like right away, this movie is just rolling.
Oh, I love it already.
It's so perfect.
I like that there's a lot of history between Dutch and Dylan too. You know, like he's working for the CIA now, but he used to be like one of Arnold's kind of guys, you know, and he's asking him about all these missions, and he's like, we're not an extermination team, we're a life-saving team. And it's kind of cool to just that's a little bit of backstory that you get to like maybe like these characters even more than you do.
It's not a lot though.
It's not.
It's not.
And so like here's my thing. I'm glad they tried.
But we don't really care, do we?
No,
We don't
It's
care.
not that you care or anything, but at the same time, you're right. I don't care. So why are you showing me? It's like, back there's the good old days, huh? And it's just like you don't need to give Arnold this much dialogue, okay? Like he's still in kind of a rough like talking.
Yeah.
Like his dialogue isn't wonderful in this movie.
Dylan!
Like,
Dylan!
until like about halfway through it is when I start believing like Arnold is Dutch, right? But other than that, it is. Oh yes, the good old days. You know me, General. It's been a long time. Yep.
Cut. Honestly, you're right.
That kind of stuff. It's like you don't need to go this far.
Sorry.
I was just saying, what I would rather have had is getting to know more of his team outside of the jungle.
Yeah.
If they would have had like a beer drinking scene or something,
that'd
or
been
like
cool.
a bar scene,
There's
or
clearly
you know.
so much backstory to be explored among this group of men that
Yeah.
we get nothing. We only get these
Exactly.
weird little hints of like friendships.
They are buddies, like the chopper scene.
They
where they're-
really are, man.
I loved all their back and forth in the chopper with little Richard on in the background, you know.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. I think it's like it could be like a show don't tell kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where all we needed was that shot.
Yeah.
There's history right there.
That's all the history I
I'm
needed.
gonna rewrite this. Ready?
Please.
Alien ship
Yep.
to Earth.
Noted.
Dylan. and then the chopper's landing in the jungle, and they're like, let's go. Like,
Just write in like some sort of like jungle bar that I can watch all of these guys interacting with
yes,
each other and
one,
like buying
one
each other
terrible
pints.
night out on the
Yeah,
town.
before they go into the jungle.
Yes.
It's like their ritual or something.
Yeah.
Because you see, you it's such a ragtag group, man. It's a motley crew, essentially. You've got Bill Duke, who's in a full suit. Billy, who looks like he's like a secondary person in what is it, Malibu something. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Hawaii 5-0, sorry. Hawaii 5-0.
Malibu 420.
Yeah, Malibu.
Fucking blaze it, bro.
Yeah, I'll let you hold on that for right now.
Is that your first one?
No, that's not your first one.
Malibu 420 is way better than Hawaii 5-0.
Cedar Rapids 69.
I fucking love that. Oh, I want a shirt that says Malibu 420. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Great.
Not your father's beer shirts. Get on it.
Get on that for me with Arnold. Anyways, and then you've got Blaine who's coming in. He's got that MTV shirt.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? That's
For
dope.
1 second.
Yeah. And like
There's no backstory of why did Duke or Matt, who's a
Mac.
Mac, why did he have a suit on?
why do you have a suit on?
Why how are we not exploring this?
No.
I assume they
It's weird,
they
man.
gave these actors kind of free reign on some things, maybe. Like Bill Duke is like, oh, I'm fucking styling, so I'm wearing my suit, and Jesse Ventura loves
Got the-
MTV. I don't know.
He wants his
Push out.
MTV.
Yeah, he really wants it.
Before we move on, let's explain to people why we feel like we're sudsing quite a bit.
Okay.
Before we came today, we went out. We had a little celebration. We brought the Wags. We brought producer Jeremy, and we went out to Cedar Ridge. They had a brunch out here in Swisher, Iowa. It's been a long time since I've gone to a brunch. If you live in Iowa and you want like a day trip, or you're coming to the area to visit, I don't know why you would from out of state. Maybe to see a podcast.
Maybe to see a live podcast.
Maybe in the future. But you just got to go to Cedar Ridge. Their food's incredible. Their brunch on Sunday is amazing. Their cocktails, I try to recreate their cocktails at home, and I can never do it because they're so good. I mean, if you live anywhere nearby, just make a day trip, tour the facilities, learn how they make the whiskey. They have an awesome tour, sample the products, eat the food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really great place, and we had an awesome time today.
It was a
It was
really
so
good
fun.
time, man. Good
So
food.
such good food. The cocktails are ridiculous, like you said, and like I could drink. I want to try them all, but I have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remain somewhat sober.
I've tried to be a one cocktail guy when I go out, try to save back on some money. But then today was a 2 cocktail day because I had a really, really good, like, it's kind of a take on a whiskey sour.
Yep.
It was phenomenal.
And
I had 2
this
of
is my first time having the quintessential, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. This
Yeah.
is their scotch.
Quintessential single malt.
Cheers.
If you like the idea of scotch, but ultimately when it comes down to it, you're like that's just too peaty and smoky. Get the Cedar Ridge quintessential single malt because it's got you can taste it. It is a scotch, but
I get it.
But it's not overbearing. It's not going to make you feel like you smoked 10 cigars the night before.
But you're
when
gonna
you
want
wake up.
to.
But you're gonna want to.
I can't drink scotch.
Nope.
I'm drinking this right now.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. Okay.
So go to cedarridgewhiskey.com. They sponsor this podcast. We love them. Check their hours out. Order some whiskey delivered straight to your house. Distillery of the Year 2017. #1 selling bourbon in the state of Iowa 2 years in a row. Just go do it.
Boom, pow, surprise.
CedarRidgeWhiskey.com.
So, en route, the team discovers the wreckage of a helicopter and 3 skinned corpses identified as Green Berets. After the team reaches a guerrilla camp and kills everyone, Dutch confronts Dylan, who reveals their true mission was to stop a planned Soviet-backed invasion. Capturing surviving guerrilla Anna and learning that more rebels are coming, the team returns to the extraction point. This is a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
This whole scene's a pretty big deal. I mean, you've got the Little Richard going on.
Yeah. I'm just happy Arnold isn't flying a chopper because I would have not believed it at all. The only time I never believe Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a job, like I can see him being jackhammer
A physical job.
a physical job, but in The Running Man, it was just shocking to see him command a chopper.
No, yeah.
And so I'm glad he was just a passenger.
I want to
in
see
this
him get to the chopper, not fly the
Not
chopper.
Thank
fly
you
the
very.
chopper.
Yeah.
You retain your title.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're on a 5-minute basis here. The little things always bug me when we do critical reviews. Like going back to this, you've got a very, very loud helicopter with doors open and everyone wearing headphones. And there's a shitty little tape boombox playing a song that we can hear as clear as day. It's like they're not hearing a single thing coming out of that radio.
No.
just
That's
don't get
all
it.
getting drowned out.
And even if they were, don't you think the pilots might want to listen to their radio and just be in conversation with the other helicopter?
That's probably what they're saying most of the time. Is like, Can you turn it down? Hey.
Oh, that's Blaine. Don't say anything.
Don't
to
say
Blaine.
anything to Blaine. No,
And I know
no,
they're
no.
traveling to this site via helicopter, obviously, but I mean, and they are automatically loud. But wouldn't you want to remain a little bit more incognito and not blare some music?
Yeah.
And kind of be a little under the wire?
Yeah.
You know, as
You
you're
would
landing,
think.
not let them know you're going to be there
You
with
would
some
think.
Little Richard coming out.
Yeah.
It also makes me wonder if maybe smoking cigars in the you can smell cigar smoke from a ways away. So
Right.
I'm wondering if you're trying to ambush some guerrillas,
Pretty distinct.
maybe we just don't smoke cigars, or let alone inside of a helicopter.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't just smoke that in the woods.
Smokey the Bear, man. It's a forest fires.
Yeah.
Prevent that shit.
Yeah.
Not
you
to
know?
they didn't have Smokey the Bear apparently
Yeah.
in their prepping for this.
Yeah.
So but I just like to think they got a mascot walk out in their briefing remember guys,
Remember to
let's
put that
Smokey the
out.
Bear. And so,
Blaine just jacks him in the face. That was a
spits
little.
on it.
I forgot about that chew spit thing. Did you think that it was a racist thing right off the bat? Because he spits on Dylan's shoes,
Dylan.
right?
Yeah.
At first, I was like, oh no, there's this southern.
Oh, no.
Watch the
Get him up
YouTube.
high. Get him up high.
Sorry, under my armpits. I forgot about because again, I don't think I'd seen this before, so I was like, oh, is Blaine just this racist southerner spitting on the black guy's shoes? But it's clearly no, that's not what it was, because the friendship between Blaine and Mac is that's a
Real.
deep, awesome deep-rooted friendship that you learn later on.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was like to know that, no, he's just the bureaucrat CIA guy. We're not
Right.
going there. Even though I think he did drop
He said the F-bomb.
he did drop an F-bomb, and and that's...
We get some pussy jokes, too, from Shane Black.
This is R-rated, 1987.
Apparently, on set, Shane Black was writing the script for Last Boy Scout.
Oh, really?
With Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis. Yeah, have you guys seen that movie?
I've seen parts
So
of it.
long
It's a
ago.
great movie.
Yeah.
But I like chewing tobacco makes you a sexual tyrannosaurus.
Yes.
And obviously also gets you immensely sick with cancer of the mouth, and so you cannot really go and perform as you would on a lady.
Is that what he means by sexual tyrannosaurus?
I mean, I hope not. It's gonna not last.
Ugh.
You know,
Yeah.
your
Thanks.
sperm count's gonna get down.
Yeah.
I would argue that it doesn't make you a sexual tyrannosaurus.
I would argue the opposite.
Yeah.
I'd take that to debate team.
Yes.
Yeah. I think when they're finally poking around in the jungle
Yep.
and such, and they see. I don't want to jump too far ahead, I guess, but I'm
Okay.
gonna take it to the corpses.
Yes.
Get us to the corpses.
They take to the corpses, and you're like, oh, Jesus,
Yeah.
good God, and then they start poking around in there.
Dude.
And you're just like, stop. How'd you find those dog tags? What are you talking about?
Billy takes his machete out and like slices that vine and starts sucking on it.
Yeah.
And
And
then
how
he's getting water out of it. And then he looks at the corpses and like, well, don't do the same with that. Like, are you wanting a meal with your water? I don't know what.
Well, yeah. By the way, how many knives does that guy need?
I don't know.
You need a lot.
He's got like 7.
You need a lot.
He's got one on his chest, but he had another one that he used. Did you see that?
He's got a knife to get a knife out of it.
No, well, the chest knife, that's a gut and a human knife. The other one's the cutting down the rope. And
Yeah,
the vines and stuff.
gotcha.
Yeah, they're different knives.
Ginsus, you
Yes,
you
yeah.
got your butchers and everything.
Of
Yeah,
course.
sashimi.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
And they even he's like, cut them down, and like they even slice it, and the bodies just kind of like crumple onto the floor.
Just the meat.
It's a little weird. Why didn't the predator take the skulls of those bodies?
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
He's
May-
trophy hunting.
Yeah.
Right. So when was it ever established that like he takes the skin of, right here we're going, oh, like he skins it, but then later on it's like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't want any skin. He doesn't want any muscle. He wants a skull.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I
So
don't know.
did he do that,
That's what I.
or
I-
did like these gorillas do that?
true.
that's the thing. Like it gets progressively different, I guess, as we move through,
Right.
like what he's trying to do, I guess, or maybe he's, yeah, what he does to those bodies is completely different for what he does later on in the movie
Totally.
to other.
So is it possible that he didn't actually do this?
I feel like it's possible.
Okay.
Could be the gorillas. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you remember the name of the guy they were looking for?
Mm-mm.
Jim Hopper.
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
Hopper.
I wanted so bad to tie it together to Stranger Things.
Dude, and there's a Hawkins too in the
Oh,
movie.
whoa.
And that's the name of the town in Stranger Things.
Okay,
my
so
God.
Jim Hopper, Stranger Things happens in like the early 80s.
Yeah.
So maybe, depending on what's happening with this new Stranger Things season, maybe he decides he needs to go become Special Forces because of
Boom.
how good he did with the whole, the upside down stuff.
Yeah.
And
You know?
then he dies in the jungle.
There you
Get
go.
that.
You heard it first.
You heard it here first.
Let's talk about Old Painless.
Old Painless.
I don't know about bringing, like you're on a special ops rescue mission, right? And you bring a heavy Gatling gun to you. You think you'd kind of want smaller arms and not such a. I mean, I guess better to have it and not need it. I don't know.
I think it's like I like to think about the talk that they're having ahead. It's like, remember, guys, we're going in. This should be like an in and out. We want to be able to move fast.
But let's
Make sure we're light on our feet. Pack only the ammo you need. It's just like all these things. He's like, "Will do, boss." And then sure enough, he drops out of the plane with a frickin' minigun.
well, if you read up about those things, like those need battery packs. They need power sources. They need like all this extra stuff that you don't see in this movie. You just think, oh, he just holds it and pulls the
Yeah.
trigger. It's like
Yeah.
those things are not just like a handgun.
No.
I mean, and there's no
not
way.
that, dude.
I'm assuming that the heat coming off of that is
Yeah.
you're unable to hold it.
Because
There's-
the videos I've shot those through, they all heat up.
Yeah.
And you have to wait. You know.
Exactly. You have to wait for a cooldown. I think there is actual. I'm not a gun person. I know we've probably got some listeners out there who can correct me, of course. But at the same time, all my knowledge was that if you continue to shoot it like that, you're melting that thing.
Yeah.
You're going to melt that thing. It will get red hot to like start melting. Like it's that
Yikes.
bad.
And you don't want that because the heat-seeking predator, man.
Heat-seeking predators.
It's right there.
I'm telling you.
I just picture him like getting off the helicopter and like grabbing all like the 3 bags it takes to haul this thing, and just like on his back. He's
Who's
Jesse
carrying the
Ventura,
Yeah.
but he's still human. You know, he's just. Yeah, I'll catch you. I'll catch up.
He is Captain Freedom, but like we do need like there's got to be, and I swear to God, he's not carrying that thing for like the first 15 minutes we see them in the jungle.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
This whole what was weird to me on Critical Review is we have this whole village ambush scene or whatever.
Yes.
The guerrillas. And like it was weird because you've got all these other Arnold Schwarzenegger movies where it like he's just the one-line king and he's just a one-liner zinger zinger zinger.
Yeah.
But like he just shows up and makes like 3 of them just during this scene, and then he never does any one-liners
No.
ever again.
Yeah.
Well, so he also has one silent signal in the helicopter when they're about to get out and like jump out of the helicopter. He does this.
Yeah.
And then later on in the village, he just does
The same one.
and it's just like, is that all? Like that just means everything to fucking Arnold
That just means,
Schwarzenegger.
that means it's on.
It means it's on.
It's
And
on.
then this means stop, and then this means go.
Okay.
But
is
didn't he
what
go?
did later.
Didn't he do this? And then he immediately said, "Stop, go."
Yeah. Is this Simon Says? It's just like he's just messing with his guys. These guys are so good. They're like
Squid
no,
Game?
No,
Yeah, like a highly trained
Oh
dogs.
man, come on. But I like the idea that it just becomes an absolute bloodbath.
It's awesome,
It's-
man.
And
It's
this-
a cool scene.
This whole action scene is why John McTiernan is one of the best action directors to me, I think, because nowadays you will get CGI like blood spurts and bullet hits and everything like that. I miss practical squib work on like actors and everything. Like as someone shooting you with or shooting a character with a machine gun, it seems like they're all hitting them, and
Yeah.
they're all filled with squibs and like blood packs and everything. It looks so cool on camera, and makes it even more like visceral.
You get some great moments of like squib work, like all that stuff, right? But the point that I lose it at is when you have all these guys going in. The moment you see Carl Weathers just going like doing the spray thing, but all of them are hitting the guy.
Every bullet that he shot hit someone.
Like that's where I get really like I'm just like, oh god, and like everybody's doing it. Almost every single person. I'm surprised the guy with the grenade launcher wasn't doing it.
This is just this scene. If you wanted a time capsule of 80s action, like just put this scene in it.
Yeah.
Because it's got that. It's got the just gunfire and squib work everywhere. It's got the traditional guy getting shot and falling from a tower.
Yeah.
Like it's got one line, stick around.
Which was that? What wasn't that?
They said he improvised
Yeah,
it,
they
and they
did,
were
yeah.
like, oh yeah. Like what does
Hell
that even,
yeah,
what does
dude.
stick
That's
around
why
even
we
mean?
hired your ass.
Well, I think I read something, and maybe you guys can correct me on this. They had like this knife that was made that they wanted this knife for him to be able to almost like battle the predator with eventually. But the thing was so massive that it was just too much. It was too big. It was too hard to handle. Like he couldn't wear it comfortably. He'd have to have it like on his back as like a samurai sword. So instead, they just made it a literal throwaway. And they threw it through a guy, stuck him to the wall, and he said, "Stick around." And they're just like, "We just need to get rid of this
we have
thing.
to leave that in the movie.
Let's leave that alone." And he doesn't go back for it. But the knife that they made was too heavy and too cumbersome for him to really carry on. It was that bad.
I gotta say, man, I think that this might be one of my favorite Arnold roles because kind of like John Candy in, like, say, Spaceballs, or where's another movie he was kind of in the back seat? or like kind of more in the back, or like a kind of a secondary
Home
character.
Alone.
Something like that,
Yeah.
you know. He's like the star, obviously, but it's really about the team, and I think his acting as a leader and like the commander of this whole team is really good.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
agree.
I think it's very, very believable. I don't know. I was just kind of taken with it this time around. Like I think because it doesn't really seem like a Schwarzenegger movie. It seems like this is just the group. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Running Man is a Schwarzenegger movie. Terminator is a
It's very
Schwarzenegger
true.
movie. You know,
This is more of the group. When you think of this movie, you think of the whole group.
Yeah.
Not so just Arnold.
right?
Yeah, and you definitely get more of that like from when we talked about say Red Dawn, where
Right.
it's like the group almost as a whole, but you actually get some good screen time for about almost everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
In this movie, as far as his team is, which I think made this such a hard movie for me as a kid, like to watch
Yeah.
and like and not take it hard. You know what I
It's
mean? Like
everybody dies.
because you see like you have some attachment to these guys.
Yeah.
You get some time to gain some attachment to them, like as main characters, and then they start getting picked off.
Yeah.
Eventually. So yeah.
Do you know how long it takes to start a helicopter? To when you can actually fly?
No.
It's minimum 2.5 minutes of like from when you finally hit the button for the rotors to start turning before you're actually able to take off.
Yeah.
So it drove me crazy that there's gunfire all over the place and bombs going off. And some guy said, I'm going to get in this helicopter and I'm going to take off
Yeah.
from nothing. It's like the equivalent of stealing a car, but before you leave, like you get it started and you check the tire pressure, you check the oil levels, you adjust your mirrors and your seat position while the car alarm's going off. Like, no, we got to get this right.
Yeah.
That stuff always bugs me in action movies. Why is this guy going to take off in a helicopter?
Oh my god. That's
Releases the e-brake, unchocks the tires.
We had to, and you had to have a moment here too of Arnold, like showing off his muscles, aka lifting up a car,
I love
a
that
truck,
part.
Yeah.
like a work truck. I was just like, yeah, fine, I'm in.
Yeah.
it's whatever.
And the rest of the team's like, what's he doing?
Isn't it? Yeah.
He's bulking out, dude.
The worst. He's got to get a good pump going before we really dive into this, dude. When you see like it does a shortcut to Jesse Ventura, and he just says it's like a long pause on him. He's just like, "What the fuck?" Just like, okay, great, sounds good.
A mustache Jesse Ventura with the silly side,
The bush hat type thing.
Yeah, what's the point of that?
No, it doesn't make sense. They're all their own personalities.
You're right.
So are they like, they're not like a military sanctioned team.
I think they're like a covert kind of ops thing that they use this team specially in the special cases, kind of like
But
this.
it seems like they're all doing their own thing now. Like it seems like they're out of the military and they're almost like a hireable special forces team that is not under the guise of the government.
they are
Private mercenary,
mercenary
kind
type
of thing.
Isn't that what that seems
they
like?
are
absolutely.
They are a back for this one last job group
Yeah.
that you see in movies.
It's
I
like
think.
it's like Expendables before the Expendables.
Yeah.
So
you know what I mean?
So didn't they say like Dutch says something like we're not expendables?
Right.
My
And-
team isn't. Yeah.
And so did this have did anyone see the Expendables? No.
I've no. Oh, of course
AJ
I've seen it.
Jesus,
Are you
AJ.
are you kidding me?
Does this have any bearing on that? Is this what Expendables comes from?
I hope so.
From that line in this movie?
He was in every single one of them. So I have
but
to-
no one else was though, right?
Right.
Like Dutch was the only one of his crew who appeared in any of the Expendables. And Dutch, and they said the crew was not Expendables in this movie.
Right.
So none of them actually was in the movie.
Okay.
That makes sense?
You're an asset. You're an expendable asset, is
yeah.
what Carl Weathers says to him. Is what Dylan says to Dutch.
Okay.
And he says, "My men aren't though. But my men aren't expendable," or something.
Meaning that they could never be in a future movie called The Expendables.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, just want to make sure we're on the same
So
page
it's
there.
foreshadowing.
They were written out of sequel rights.
Nope, it's on. Nope. See, right here in this
Yeah.
movie, we said this crew is not Expendables.
Nope. See, you can't put them in this.
All right, so scene 3, as they retreat, the team are followed by a hidden presence. Anna tries to escape, and Hawkins is killed by the creature. Dutch organizes a search party, but Blaine is killed by the creature's plasma cannon. Enraged, Mac incites everyone to fire their weapons into the jungle, unknowingly wounding the creature. As the creature mends itself, the commandos regroup and realize they're being hunted. They make camp for the night and set traps, but a wild boar sets them off. Mac kills it with the creature, while the creature steals Blaine's body.
So this whole time they're kind of being watched by this presence that we know is the predator, and it's the heat-seeking kind of vision that we see.
Yeah.
And we see him try and like mimic Mac's sayings and everything, like over here or something like that. What do you guys think of just like that whole like heat-seeking him? Because we learn later that that's what his eyes see, not just his mask, right?
No. So his eyes see heat.
Right.
But it filters it out, I think, or something.
Okay.
Like his mask does to filter it all out. Because you're right. Later on, we see him like facing off like hand to hand with Arny, and everything's hot and like heated.
Yeah.
It would just be so weird and confusing to see like that. But I guess like if this is like you're a hunting killing machine, you know, like they're bred to be hunters, you know, and so heat seeking would probably be the thing to see.
I just don't buy it. I don't like the fact that this is like what it sees. How does it even move around the jungle if it can't even? You can't
It's
even
not even
tell
depth
what it's.
perception.
You can't even tell what it's looking at
No.
with how bad this graphic is, and it's like, yeah, there's no. How do you know that there's a rock below you, and how do you know that if there's a tripwire, and how are you running through the jungle if that's what you're seeing?
Yeah.
So maybe it's just deeper. Maybe that's like one version of what it sees, and that's all we're seeing.
Yeah. That's the thing. I just. It's really tough for me because eventually he picks up the scorpion too, and I'm like, what's the significance of that?
Yeah.
You know, like why does he care? Like, why does he care?
Yeah.
He picked up the scorpion, and he looks at it in his hand, and we have like that takes like 2 minutes. It takes like 2 minutes.
That whole scene takes a long time.
I kind of like it just because he's curious, and it's like a scary thing to humans, and like he's probably wondering why he like got it off of
why he killed it maybe, or killed a living thing, or like I don't. Yeah, okay.
It could be just like a stupid throwaway thing, but I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting a little bit. Thinking a little bit too hard about it.
Well, yeah, and Mike, you asked earlier about like, do they go in and dive into this like in some of the later movies? And I know that they do, and I will just reiterate. I mean, we're watching this like we're only watching this movie. Not,
correct. Yeah,
right.
This is the only movie in the franchise.
Yeah,
right now.
as of right now, as it sits right now, this is the only movie in the franchise that we know of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that they do dive into it a little bit later on some of these things, and we get some hints later on too, like when with the girl and everything, and like chasing the girl, and Arnold kind of figures some things out. But that leads me to the girl, and what is the fucking point of bringing her along to just of anything? Like, okay, try to just think about it for 2 seconds. What's the point of making sure she comes along?
I think the only reason story related that she comes along is so that she can. There's two that she can provide some background story of like, whoa, no, this has happened before.
Some intel or something.
Yes, and to show Arnold that if she's unarmed, she won't get killed.
For story
purposes.
But you're right, and the whole thing with Dylan and her and this weird like, oh, you tricked us. None of this needed to happen. They could have all just gone into the jungle because some weird things have been happening.
Yeah.
And then they could have just done this.
It seems very pointless. I'm like, to be honest, I've tried to really think, and like the only thing I can think of is
it's that
maybe she will provide, like, we need her as like a POW kind of vibe of we're gonna try to extract information out of her.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe
too. Yeah.
That's it. But at the same time, who the hell is she?
And just like maybe like the good graces of them as humans, like they probably don't kill women and children.
Yeah.
So they don't really want to leave her there, I guess. But you're right. It's like, I don't know.
It seems so weird. And again, we get this kind of mix of like Russian soldiers and down in South America, and like they're partnering up and stuff. I just don't. I don't know. It seems very, very all over
and
the
then
place
P.S.
for such a short amount of time.
There's this guerrilla like craziness going on in the woods. Even though that they destroyed this little camp, there's like some crazy stuff going on in this woods.
Yeah.
Never the plot is
That's
gone.
right.
Yeah.
Like the plot is over.
Yeah.
That whatever that part of that plot is no longer a part of this plot anymore.
This place is crawling with guerrilla activity. We got to get out of here. How far out are they? I don't know. Maybe an hour, 45 to an hour.
They're still
We
up.
have to get out of here.
Nope. Let's forget all about that.
By the way, that's not important anymore. We're just
Because now there's this thing.
yeah. There's a thing now, so we got to focus on that. Holy shit, you're right.
It's just like it's interesting to me that you're right. That whole thing's kind of nuts. But I did love in this scene. I loved I thought one of the funniest moments to me was Pancho to Blaine's like, "You're bleeding, man." And he says that I ain't got time to bleed.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Pancho's reaction that's like,
Oh. Okay.
because that's like what we all would have said in that moment.
I ain't got time to bleed. Ain't got time to pee or poop. Ain't got time to love. Ain't got time to check in with my mental health. Ain't got time for time. Ain't no time for time.
He is stressed.
I do have time for some chaw.
Chaw. I got time to chew. I ain't got time to bleed. It's like, well, you might not have time, but it is happening. So maybe bandage that up. So
Right now, in time,
In
if,
time.
if your theoretical time doesn't exist, it is happening now.
yeah.
Just so you know.
He's like, he gets down the way. He's just like, oh, I feel weak. It's like, yeah, it's all that time you didn't have for bleeding. That's what happened.
You just wasted all that time.
You just wasted all that time bleeding because you thought you didn't have time. I don't know what you need. So
Ooh, here's a prop.
All right, this probably isn't what you think I'm
You
going to
son
say.
of a bitch.
That's what I want.
Dylan.
I want a voice recording of him going, "You son of a bitch." No, I want Max Flask.
Damn it.
Yeah, were you gonna say that?
man.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I know it hurts that I have the buttons here. and
It
I can do
does,
that,
Mike.
But at any point for future reference, if you're just like hit that prop button,
Yeah.
then I have to go. Okay, I have to honor you.
Okay.
Sorry,
Finally.
just take
Wow.
Blaine's hat and move on. Okay.
yeah.
Take Blaine's hat and move on.
I think I want the mask of the Predator.
Cool.
If anything.
Dang.
If anything, then like the bust of just like the head or something.
Okay.
You know,
Wow.
I want that.
Okay.
And I want, just like in basketball, I want Kevin Peter Hall in a glass cage.
Okay, I'm into that.
I think I'm going to take Billy's like shaman necklace.
cool.
Oh, nice.
I want Billy's shaman necklace. I was
really
gonna
like
do
that.
his Bowie knife that he already cut himself with. So there's
With blood on
with
there.
blood on it. I was also considering Billy's wig, but that's fine too. I don't think it's a wig. But I'm gonna go with his shaman,
All right.
his shaman necklace.
All
Did
right.
you know that he had like a bodyguard on set with him, but it wasn't to protect him from other people, it was to protect people from him?
What?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Apparently, Sonny Landham was like the definition of a loose cannon.
No shit.
Like he would get in fights everywhere that he went. And it's kind of unfortunate reading more about him because like I think he's my favorite.
He's really cool in
I
this
think
movie.
he's my favorite, coolest guy in this
Yeah.
movie.
He is dope in this movie.
I just love the cool factor of how he sort of just like never loses his cool. The when he's like, we're all gonna die. Okay.
There's something in these woods.
Billy. So, but yeah, dude, you're absolutely right. They literally hired someone to just keep him out of trouble
oh my gosh.
because he was kind of like
What
I
did
guess he
that
is
guy
still
have
alive.
to look like to keep that guy in check?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Exactly.
He was the third gubernatorial candidate. Sonny Landham did try to run for governor, and apparently his platform was just Jesse Ventura and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, look, they were governors, so I should be. Apparently, that was all he
I thought you
did.
were gonna say he's like, I'll just beat the fuck out of anybody who opposes me.
I'm surprised he did it.
I think his tagline would have just been Sonny Landham. We're all gonna die.
So why not?
I just
So why
want
the hell
someone
not?
to fucking tell me how it is. I'll vote for anybody. I don't care.
At least he's speaking the truth.
Yeah.
At least he's speaking the truth.
Do you guys think that the most iconic scene of this movie is Mac with the minigun into the woods.
It's crazy, man.
Dude.
This burned a hole in my memory as a kid. That moment when that noise of that, when him losing his shit,
So
and
Blaine gets killed.
and
Blaine,
Blaine gets killed. So then he's shooting into the woods, but then he's out. So he grabs the minigun, and then the sound of that thing was like, and you're seeing, and then they all just. I mean, like Sean, if I ever like came to your house and all of a sudden you were in the backyard just mad firing a gun into the woods, I would join in.
You would have to go purchase a weapon.
I would pick a gun
and come back
and
with
I would
like
just
plenty of
stand next
clips.
to
Back. Yeah,
I'm just like this, and I see you into my side. I'm like,
They didn't question it.
No,
None of
every single one of those guys just jumped in and was just like, okay, yeah, okay.
And then there's
and then like I just imagine there's going to be like insurgents coming out of the woodwork, just like
So
firing
maybe they
with them.
killed everyone.
There's
Maybe
going
they
to be
killed
like
all.
a row of like red coats from the Revolutionary War coming out, just like taking heat.
Predator's right there shooting his cannon.
Predator's also shooting his plasma cannon. Like, I'm just thinking like everybody. Cowboys are just like everyone's Indians are like shooting their bows and arrows, and like everyone's just firing down that like tunnel.
Everyone's
that they're
shooting their
cutting
nuclear
through.
missiles off.
Yeah,
Stormtroopers.
stormtroopers are running through.
Choo. Yeah.
And rebels, yeah, like everybody's coming through. The Millennium Falcons just like diving through.
So if they would have done a spoof on this movie, that's what would have
That's
happened.
what would
Oh
happen.
my God.
Everybody would have just been coming out of the woodwork. Any shooting scene you can think of is happening in
happening
this
in this
scene.
Okay, we'll make a TikTok of just that scene, and I want all like the gun nerds out there to like do like stitch the video, and we'll get flagged. But
I know I can't do anything with guns.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
but I want to stitch like have like people stitch themselves like coming into frame and just start shooting at nothing.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
It'd be fucking awesome.
But I like there's a scene you can see Arnold like. He empties a clip and he looks over to the other group. And he's like, "We done? Oh, no, we're not done. Okay." And he like starts reloading
Yeah, he does this again, and he keep going
to himself. He's like,
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I hadn't watched this movie that many times, but I always remembered. I was like, well, they shot a lot of guns. Like, why? I know they wounded the Predator, but like, why didn't they? How did he get away from that? It's like it was so evident what he did, right?
he's up in them trees."
Yeah, like I just never was able to stitch that together as a young kid. Going, that's how he just got hit and like popped up in a tree and just stood there
Yeah.
and just stayed there. It was yeah, right.
What do you think of the whole cloak, like invisibility kind of look upon this watch?
Like,
how do you think it holds up?
You mean like, well, so at this point, you see him when he kills Hawkins.
Yeah, Shane Black.
Shane Black, yep. Basically, part number 2 of, but to Joel Silver.
The next generation.
Yeah, and so, but it's very different. Like it's kind of like a repeating thing that you can kind of see the shape of him, and then I think it gets a little different even then, where it's like, yeah, you don't actually see him at all, and so there's differences. So I think it's cool though. I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it still kind of holds up to me.
I think so too.
Some aspects of it, like the choppiness, like when he does the Hawkins kill, is a little less. But I don't know. Yeah.
And to add on top of that, I think like the gore in this movie is awesome too. Like especially when he
God.
kills
Yeah.
Hawkins.
Blaine too.
Blaine
like,
just explodes.
hole in
We'll
his
get
chest.
to Mac later, but yeah, they couldn't key in a green screen because they're shooting in a forest. Like it's all greenery. So they had him wear like a red cloak, and so they just keyed out the red, and so it would stand out among the green and everything like that. So they just keyed in like the whole invisibility look that way. Whereas usually you would do green, obviously, but
or
yeah,
blue on
interesting.
Spaceballs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move this party on. So the next day, the creature sets off a trap, but it escapes and injures Poncho. Mac and Dylan try to pursue it, but it outmaneuvers and kills them both. As the survivors flee, Billy stays behind to fight the creature, but is also killed. The creature catches up to the survivors and kills Poncho. Dutch realizes it does not attack unarmed individuals, and he sends Anna to the extraction point alone and unarmed.
So here's the thing, guys. You're going to tell me that Mac and Dylan are going to run off themselves after we've already seen one death trope happen. They killed the guy with glasses first.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first death. Makes sense. So you're going to send the only 2 black guys off into the forest alone? Are you kidding me?
Are you trying to be
Are
a
you
stereotype?
trying
Yeah,
to stereotype this whole movie? This entire thing? Yeah, the nerdy glasses guy, nerdy glasses white guy, dead. So let's just see what other tropes we can hit.
Yeah.
Now let's take out one of the most fearsome. Yeah, that'll show them.
Yeah.
Now we're just gonna do a 2-for-1. Are you kidding me? Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
I think I was thought one of you guys would take the prop, Max Razor. I think that's
man.
I think that's one of the most other iconic things I think about in this movie is like that moment of him shaving and then it cuts back to him and there's freaking blood and he snaps it.
That was all Bill Duke.
Did he come up with that?
He came up with that thing that he just shaves because he's shaving in the helicopter. He's
just shaving.
He's
That was
just
his
shaving.
thing.
I'll be
The
honest
opposite
with you.
of us, basically.
Yeah.
I would not want to be shaving when I'm sweating constantly,
Yeah.
though.
Or in a helicopter.
Or in a helicopter.
Or
It's-
in the jungle.
You're just like this is Bill Duke if it was reality. Like that's Bill Duke shaving.
He's
And
like
then-
in a convoy in a Jeep, and he's just
yeah, just
perfectly moistened face though,
Yeah.
like for nice less friction. You
yeah,
know?
exactly. Those aren't Gillette.
it ain't Manscaped.
You know, that's a bic right there.
Yeah, and then but they had to come up with this idea of like, okay, well, how do we make him bleed? And they had this special
So if
razor.
as he pushed against it, blood would come out.
It started to make it. Yeah, it pushed out blood. It was interesting.
Do you think whose death do you think was the worst?
The like most painful, you think?
Yes.
Like
Like Dylan's was pretty bad. Dylan lost the arm first.
yeah,
And had to go through that pain.
and you imagine then he got the knife.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, yeah. His was the worst, I think.
Yeah,
I think
Because
Dylan
his
got it.
lasted probably the longest.
yeah. We don't
But-
really see Ponchos. Bill Duke, Mac is just done.
Ugh.
But like I gotta say, coming back to Bill Duke, he's really good in this, and I really
I
believe
know.
I really believe like his like we were talking about earlier, his friendship with
Oh man.
Blaine, he like his kind of like revenge journey. He kind of goes unhinged after this, and I really love seeing that in Bill Duke. It's really fun to see him be like, I'm gonna get your blood, brother. You know, what's he say about him? He's like, I'm gonna carve your name into him.
Carve your name into him.
He seemed to go. A lot of these guys seem to go from like just very stereotypical, non-deep characters to like something happened and they became like multi-dimensional.
Yeah,
especially Mac.
yeah. I
He
think
was
so.
just like, ugh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Like, what does he do? Oh, okay.
That's
he's-
why it was kind of hard to see him go out the way he
Yeah.
did, because he's got a line on him, but it just goes to show how unstoppable I guess
yeah,
the Predator is.
Yeah.
But he's just
only
like
Arnold can be
Exactly.
A predator.
Come
Okay,
on,
Jesus.
come on.
he's under the trees and everything, and he's like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker.
Oh, that
and all of a
sucks.
sudden, it's so creepy. Just the 3-dot triangle thing that
Yeah.
it makes.
If it would have just been one dot, not as creepy.
Ooh,
but
I'm gonna
the
get
three,
that. I'm gonna get that as a tattoo,
Ooh.
bros. Yeah, hell
Put
yeah.
it right in the same spot that he had it.
Yeah, on my head
on
too.
your forehead.
Cool, man. No.
He does. It seems like such a throwaway death for one of the characters that we were building the most like out of.
Yeah.
Like feeling the most for, and then you're done. That's it.
I
in
would
a
have.
shockingly violent way too. When it's that
Ugh.
camera and it goes all over, like his head's above the camera,
Yeah.
and it goes
Yeah.
all. I'm like, damn.
I know.
I would have loved to have seen Billy's death though, but does that make
Yeah.
it because Billy being, in my opinion, the most badass of
Yeah.
everyone? That's my personal opinion, like the native trope of it.
Yeah.
I know that that's very tropey, but I also really like that. I did look in his IMDb and like many of his roles were like Indian.
That's right.
Native American guy.
Yeah.
Indian on horse. It's like he was very tropified.
Is he
And-
actually Native American?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
assuming. But
Um,
sometimes you see a photo of him and you don't see it at all. But
Yeah, I would love to have seen that fight.
yeah.
I think I would like because I think we needed that. I wanted more Predator
Yeah.
first off, and I wanted to see like him like go hand to hand with somebody because he doesn't really go hand to hand with Arnold later
no.
all too much as much
Not
as
a
I want
ton.
anyway. But
You know, like I think that would have been the best opportunity to see it, but they're obviously building for the reveal to be with the hero.
Yeah.
You know, And I think back then that the payoff was probably okay that way, but I think it would have been nowadays. I think that they're like when they make a movie, they're completely fine with just giving it away, like kind of getting it to you and being like, because maybe I don't know if it's a budgetary thing, whatever,
Probably.
but they're ready to get this in front of you, like by this point in the movie. They want you to be now afraid of what you know rather than what you don't. And I think that's what kind of makes this almost a little drug out at this point. Is because, okay, you're still mostly killing with what we don't know, in ways we don't know. We saw him repair himself. We saw him kind of fix himself up. We've seen him a couple of times in some blips, but it's still kind of an unknown thing rather than just like we have some serious screen time with him.
Yeah.
So
it could be like a Jaws thing too.
Yeah.
Where they don't like really reveal it, or you don't really see the shark until the end, you know? But I don't know. It's probably more of a budgetary thing, unfortunately, I guess. But let's talk about what the look of the Predator, like the look of the design, the Stan Winston design. Do you guys really like it as much as I do?
It's one of the better. Well, okay, in two facets. Looking at it, it's one of the most recognizable, uniquely like scary monsters that have ever been created. Like, not top, definitely not top, but there. But then there's some things about it that's like, like it's still a human in a costume.
Right.
That's where modern eye is like, well, I'm not scared of this anymore. Where there's still some things out like Alien, like I'm still scared of that.
Yeah.
As a 40-year-old man.
Very scared of
I'm
Alien.
not like scared of Predator anymore in a modern era.
I'm not really scared of it either, but it's just so fucking badass.
It's
looking.
iconic.
It's like even just with the mask. Probably more
I
with the
prefer
mask.
it with the mask on.
It looks so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he takes that mask off, then I'm scared. I'm just like, oh no, I can't attempt to hit this thing. There's no way.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
Guys, most punchable face is the Predator when he takes his mask off. I hate it. I hate that face.
Beady little eyes and
And like the little things, like what do those do?
Mandibles.
The mandibles.
What is a
I
mandible?
think they
What's a
like. He
mandible?
doesn't need a fork. He just
I don't like it.
scoops it up into his mouth.
I'm punching the shit out of that face.
You got to punch him.
Do you have another more punch? I'm not going to punch anybody else in the movie.
I don't. I hate it because it's such a good looking, like from like an art wise kind of standpoint. But I'm with you. If in real life that thing was, I would say welcome to Earth and punch the fuck out of it.
You'd slap the shit out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. And yeah, like it's such a target. You know what I mean? Like it's such a big head, and you're just like, it's just such a target. And I just feel like my hand, it would just like glance off, but it'd be very satisfying.
It would feel like you punched like a mat, like a wrestling mat. Like it would feel like foam, It would like kind of end down. You're like, oh, that was kind of nice actually.
But it's also a sweaty wrestling mat, It's like a sweaty wrestling mat
With diseases
with
on
diseases
it.
on
so
it.
you get ringworm from it.
Yeah, and you're gonna punch it. I think it would make a funny noise if it was like if it was a good punch. It's just like.
Well, clearly, it wears a mask for a reason. Like it wears a mask to protect its delicate face, right?
Yeah.
So if
got
you
a face for radio.
turns out if you just kind of push on it, he dies.
Yeah, Predator should have a podcast. It's like
No.
just yeah.
Don't.
You don't like that?
I don't like that.
That's my uvula.
I don't like that.
What's a uvula?
The little dangly punching bag.
You know how to do that?
Yeah.
Do it.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
It's like rattling in your throat,
Yeah.
like it's hitting your throat. You can feel that.
Rocky Balboa's like punching your little bag.
Guess how many dates I got by doing that to ladies?
None.
Yep.
So you're like dude in fucking Stranger Things in season 2, and he's going.
Yikes.
All right, let's end this. Let's go final scene here. So Dutch attempts to distract the creature while fleeing, but eventually ends up in a muddy riverbank where the creatures fail to see him. Using his new invincibility, Dutch crafts makeshift traps and weapons and lures the creature out at night. While battling in the forest and despite being overpowered, Dutch defeats the creature, who engages a self-destructive device. Realizing what it has done, Dutch reaches for cover and survives the explosion. He's then rescued by the extraction helicopter with Anna already safely on board.
I'm going to have two things to say. Again, the fact that Predator isn't going to attack somebody unarmed is still pointless.
Yeah.
It's still pointless. Like, if she wasn't there, it wouldn't make any difference because he's still going to attack everybody else. So does that mean if, like, I guess was like Arnold at the end when he didn't have a gun in his hand or anything?
No.
So that's why he, like, took off his gun and his face mask. He's like, okay, well, I'll make it he's like making it a fair fight.
Supposedly, the lure behind the Predator is that it's like a killing machine that fights for sport, that hunts for sport, but also has honor, right? So like the fact that it did lay down its weapons and take his mask off is because it felt that Dutch was a worthy opponent,
right?
That it was okay getting killed by.
Okay,
he wants to beat him, but it's like, if I get killed by this guy, so be it.
Okay.
He's the dominant species at that point. Right.
But when does that ever come out ever in this movie?
No,
right?
that's
How
the
is
thing.
that portrayed?
And that's why I say, like, looking back at this and really taking it from the point of, we don't get the modern Predator movies to go ahead and just and give us all this exposition. Excellent. Like, by the way, he's like, there's a gorilla came in here and they got to take them down. So once your team moves in, get him out. And Arnold's just going to go, everybody got that? And that's like what's going to that's like all happened at the beginning. But the later movies are the ones that explain all this. We don't have this now, and that's what's kind of frustrating to me about this.
To add to a little bit to that too is that in the later movies, and I think maybe in this movie too, you see like the skulls that he's collected, right? And some of them are animals. I think it's mostly the sequels in like Predator 2 especially. But he's
got like cat skulls.
He's got like skulls from like different planets and shit like that in the second one. But if he's got like a skull like from a rhino or something like that, that thing wasn't armed.
Right.
Like those animals aren't armed unless you count the horn or something like that. Like what? I don't. Does it have to be armed, or you just choose to? I don't know.
Do we? I feel like we need Predator Big Game Hunter, and you've got him like he's like in one of those like shooting tents. He's like, shh, there's a rhino. He's like, he's coming out. I'm gonna take a shot.
Stay downwind.
I'm gonna take a shot. Ka-ching! And it's just, oh shit. We got it. Good job. Good shot.
Good job, Larry.
Good job out there. Like, that's what we need is like, and like Predator coming and like getting out of a tent awkwardly.
He's teaching his son, his little Predator, how to like, all right, take the shot, little Pred.
Take the shot.
Good job, buddy.
Now, kid, now you got to drink the blood of this.
Drink the blood and become very sick.
Yes, that's all I want is like that's going to be on like the Big Game Network or something. I don't know.
Well, it's humanizing the goon, right? Like we're looking at, the Predator is the ultimate goon,
he is
right?
a goon.
I mean, it's like it's humanizing him to be like, this is just what he does. Like he just at some point he's going to kill everyone and he's going to be like, well, time to get back to my home planet. And he goes back to his space shuttle and like unlocks the car alarm and goes quick, and he he gets back in and like calls his wife's like, yeah, I killed 10 guys. They were like special Green Berets.
I
skinned 3 of them. Took 3 skulls. Couple skulls weren't worthwhile.
Yeah.
I should be home in about 2 light years.
Threw those ones back.
Yeah.
Goes down his basement in his meat locker and is like having to do like the spin dial lock. He's with his claws. He's like, damn it.
God damn it.
Puts the meat in there.
Yeah, and it was weird. It was a weird thing too, honey. Like the one guy thought that like I wouldn't kill people that were unarmed.
Really?
But then I just killed him, and like so it was the easiest kill I've ever had.
It was really weird.
He's an idiot though.
Yeah.
Humans are dumb.
All right, safe travels, honey.
They kill each other down there.
Maybe it's like turkey hunting, or like, he saw as a girl, he's like, oh, I don't hunt doe, so
Yeah,
that's it.
See, that was another one of my thoughts too. Like
It's El Duce from
El Duce.
from-
El Duce.
One thing: no women and children.
Oh, it's the only thing. Oh, women and children.
That
Bertoli.
that stunt double was pretty bad, falling off the waterfall.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! It was like, how tall is Arnold? Like 6'6" and like 270 pounds and ripped with short hair. And this
Yeah.
guy was
Yeah.
like 5'5", 120 pounds and long hair, jumping off the water. And apparently he like broke his ankle.
yeah.
He like hurt himself.
doing the stunt.
Not worth it, man. Not worth it. Like, I have to say, with all this stuff, right? Apparently, you're gonna need a montage because Predator's just resting up at this point
Yeah.
while he's setting up all these other booby traps.
Well, and my
Like-
thought too is like he has a fire going.
Yeah,
The predator sees heat.
yeah. No, exactly. Like all this stuff.
Go get him.
It doesn't make sense. Like he's setting up all these things, and by the way, Predator climbs trees. He's probably just standing up there like,
Fuck
"What's
are
this
you
guy even
doing?"
I guess I'm not gonna go that way.
Yeah, like later when he's like, "Come on, kill me! Come on!" He's just like, "No,
No, I saw you make that.
I don't think so." I literally walks around.
Like, I watched you make that. Come on.
This whole montage scene, I was hearing hearing Home Alone music, like din, 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 like when he's setting up all the booby traps. That's just what I felt this whole time. I will TikTok Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You will.
doing booby traps to Home Alone music.
And yeah, and it's him setting things and then like throwing the micro machine cars for them to step on and like
Exactly what it was.
it's just come on, man. Like it's like how is he not watching him do this? Like is
Kevin
he
McAllister is the ultimate match for a predator.
I think so. So what you're saying?
It's like, babe, honey, I killed all these mercenaries, but then some like 9-year-old kid, I ran into him at his house, and it was like, I had to leave.
I stepped on Christmas ornaments.
With a
My
paint
feet
can.
hurt so bad.
He's like I never expected it. I just didn't expect it. Kid didn't overthink it, I guess. I don't know.
It was the middle of winter. How did you not see him?
I just, yeah. Well, so, since we're kind of finishing this up, my thing is that you're like, it's like this noble thing, right? Of like, if we're gonna break down Predator a little bit, it's like a noble thing of hunting these people. Well, Predator is the ultimate sore loser. He's just like, he's like, well, I got crushed by a log, so now I'm just gonna blow everything up. And so if he's so honorable, he's the ultimate sore loser.
It's his last hurrah.
There's a Reddit fan theory from Ghost of Your Mom
Oh,
that says that it's actually him not being a sore loser. It's actually him applauding Dutch and like saying you did it. So this guy basically said that the emphasis of the countdown, because he could have just blew himself up. But instead, there's this extended countdown, which basically lets him know that I'm blowing myself up. You should get out of here. And that the laugh is a gesture meant to communicate with Dutch and just be like, you did good. Like, congratulations.
like the Billy laugh.
Yeah. Do you
Okay.
do you buy that? Because like the movie sets it up to be like, oh no, this guy's an asshole. He's gonna kill Dutch and he's laughing. But like this guy thinks it's no. He thinks he's giving him time to like make his escape and say, good job. I'm trying to communicate with you using your language.
I'm into that.
I like it better. Like, because I don't like to think that.
Right.
I don't like to think that, like, because then there's no consistency. If you're thinking, oh, he's an honorable hunter and everything, that is pulling spines out and keeping trophies.
Mortal Kombat
Dude,
style.
that was wicked. I
Was
know.
Mortal Kombat after this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
it came
been.
from this. It had to.
Dude, that was legit. When he,
Ugh.
like, I know obviously it wasn't part of the death, but the after death, like he still felt that. But yeah, no, like I like that better, thinking that rather than he's some sort of sore loser
Yeah.
going back on what he's so
Yeah.
honorable about.
Yeah.
I like it better.
I'm into that too. I think it's a really cool thing. Like it's kind of like a Apocalypse Now thing where they're doing him all covered in mud.
Yeah.
You can't really see him in mud and everything. But I like the battle. I like the. It seems like Predator is like a human character at this
Yes.
point that you're like not really rooting for, but you just want to see them battle. And honestly, when he does get him with the log, and he's down and bleeding, like I felt kind of bad for him a
Yeah.
little bit, you know.
I know.
And then I mean, I think I kind of subscribe to that Reddit theory more, but it doesn't. I guess you have to read into it
Yeah.
in order to really get that.
Yeah.
But we get to like him getting extracted. He gets to the choppa finally.
Finally.
Thank God.
But like he's laying in the chopper and just kind of like looking off. Where I'd be like, dudes, have I got a fucking crazy story for you? You know, aliens, yeah, exist.
They exist.
Just
apparently.
fucking killed one, dude. He's back. I mean, he's probably obliterated by now, but we should probably do some research into this.
I bet there's more of them.
Bet there's more, but there's a family he probably procreated. I don't know. Let's do something about this.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Total mind effer. Okay. But he's just going off about this, and it's like I think the general's like, shh. You can't stop it.
No,
Stop. You can't talk
nope.
about this. What happens to Dutch then?
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
just like sealed away.
Here's my theory.
Okay.
Mike's fan theory is that when
Back.
this is over, Dutch is like the military knows about this, okay? And they're like, okay, listen, you cannot talk about this. You cannot. We're gonna extract you out. You don't want to do this military thing anymore. We're gonna give you like a top level security position. We're gonna pay you a lot of money. We're gonna evaluate you from your experience, maybe some nuclear fallout here. But he becomes famous internally for his exploits. He's the first one to defeat a predator. He retires from the military. He becomes a sultan for a new company called Cyberdyne,
Oh no.
who is working on technology to build artificially intelligent robots to start replacing humans in military installations.
Miles Dyson?
So based on Dutch's heroic exploits, Cyberdyne decides to start modeling their robots after Dutch as an honor to his service. And so Cyberdyne Systems Model 101, or the T800, is Dutch.
Oh my god! And I think his name in real life in the movie is like Kevin Berkeley.
Donald Berkeley.
Let's find Kevin Berkeley.
Kevin Berkeley.
I like that, man.
I dig
That's
that.
fun.
So that's what,
I'm
but he
in.
does die. He does get nuclear radiation
Yeah,
fallout.
yeah.
He does die very young.
But like, this is a specimen.
But they want to
that we
honor him.
want.
They want to honor him. They're like, he was the best of the best.
Yeah.
He's Major Alan Dutch Schaefer.
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 Hi, I'm
Shimley.
Alan
Hi.
Schaefer.
Hi, I'm Alan Schaefer.
That sounds like a Dutch name.
Last thing I had, Mythbusters did prove that covering yourself entirely in mud does not,
Right.
in fact, conceal your body heat. The mud, it does for a very short time, but then the mud heats up from your body heat, and then
I see.
you now are just covered in mud and showing off your heat.
He was so cold. Like I mean, it was very cold for him.
Heck
He was smashing clay onto him and stuff, and all that mud, and it couldn't have been comfortable.
No.
Not a chance.
God.
I read in the credits too that he had a mud makeup person. Like someone
I want that.
specialized
I want that.
to just muddy up Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Make my mud look good.
Kevin Peter Hall is a helicopter pilot at the end. He gets a line. It says,
During the extraction?
says what the fuck. Yeah.
Dude, that's
And-
cool. So he actually got some screen time?
Yeah, because he's in the makeup the entire time. They wanted to give him a little something, and I love the character breakdowns at the end of movies. Like Dazed and Confused, I'm such a fan of that, man. I don't know why. I think it's just very charming to like kind of look back.
the in memoriam.
Yeah, but it's also
of this movie.
it's also just like
Yeah.
But you notice how every one of them it's a separate thing.
Yeah.
Like they're like, okay, now I need you to do this cool thing for the end of the movie. But Arnold's was from the movie.
All right. So
Every one of them
That's
was
right.
like, hi. But Arnold was like an actual scene from the movie. So he was like, I'm not doing that shit.
all right, last TikTok idea. You need this, but you need to put either the Growing Pains or the Full House music over it.
Everywhere you look, everywhere. I'm going to get flagged for guns and our account's going to get fucking taken
damn,
away.
dude.
I'll figure out a way to blur it out and put like a hot dog in their hand or something like that.
It's just like
Done deal, dude. All right,
Cool.
anything else? Did we break it down with a modern critical eye?
I think we
so.
did.
All right, AJ, what are your modern day thoughts and rating on this movie?
Come on, man.
it's a fun movie.
man.
Like it is a fun movie, and I totally get why it was so highly rated. You know why the critics were so high about it. Like for the time and the tech and the makeup and everything that went into this movie. But there are some things about it like now that, and not even talking about the special effects or the makeup or anything. I'm talking about some substance. I'm talking about some story, and I'm missing that. And like, if you were listening this whole time, that was my number one gripe. Like, why didn't we have context of this? Why didn't we have context of that? If we're going to get to know these characters, give me more. And so I do still enjoy the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's pretty fun, and I'm a sucker for action movies, let alone Arnold action movies. Come on, man. I love them. But nowadays, I think I would rather watch Terminator.
Yeah.
I would
Of course.
rather I'd rather watch like as we get into the 90s and stuff, like some True Lies or Eraser, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, maybe not Eraser. Sorry, not Eraser. True Lies.
Okay, there we go.
Cut that out.
Cut that out, please. Okay, thank you. I don't want to be known for the guy who likes Eraser. No, I think watching it, there are some other Arnold movies that I'm going to go to before I get to this. So that being said, I think I'm going to have to give this a 6 on the nose. 6.0. A flat 6.
Sean, what you got, man?
Yeah, I think like we were saying in the beginning, like all the context, we were kind of joking.
Yeah.
But all the context we needed and all the backstory that we needed was in that one handshake.
In that one. You're right.
And I think that's what the movie is. It really is. It's just like we don't really. I don't really need any of that context. I think all the characters are revealed as much as I want them to be throughout the movie, and then they're killed off, obviously. I love seeing the Predator. I wish there was more of the Predator in the movie. I think the direction is fantastic. Like I said, no one does body hit squibs anymore, like John McTiernan did back in the 80s. Makes a fucking killer action movie, and it's also a really cool science fiction film. While being a Schwarzenegger vehicle, I think it's a 7.9 for me.
Wow.
I think this movie's badass.
Wow.
7.9er for the Sean. I'm kind of right in between you guys. I do love many of the aspects of it. It's totally rewatchable. It's a cool premise. You're always going to watch it. If it like comes into, you're like, okay, I guess can't wait for that scene. Can't wait for this scene.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do disagree with you. I didn't talk about it in the review, but I don't like I don't think any of the graphics. I think it's very bad.
Okay.
Back in the day, it was awesome. Like the
visual
Predator
effects?
visual.
Okay.
Like, especially certain moments where it's like jumping around and it's
Yeah.
just like, what the? I know it's a long time ago. That's fine. I'm just saying modern day it's like, this is just weird. I did want more backstory, but I'm not going to search this movie out, but if it's on, I'm going to watch it. There are other movies we've done that I'm Lethal Weapon. I like that kind of stuff is more what I want to watch.
Okay.
If we're talking about action. So I'm a 6.4. Executive producer Tyler Dark says The Predator, a 1987 classic that still to this day delivers incredible 80s feeling action and very good looking effects that only look slightly dated. It still has me on the edge of my seat rooting for our boys, even though we all know in the end it's just Arnold and the Predator mano a mano. With a story that feels, at least for me, incredibly unique for a first entry idea and a movie monster that still makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable looking directly at for too long.
Yeah.
Predator continues to captivate my attention from start to finish. With great sound design and incredible shooting locations, Predator constantly gives you that feeling of we're not alone, making the hairs rise on the back of my neck stand up still today. My modern day review is going to have to be a whopping 8.7.
That's what I'm saying.
And with that, guys, I've got to get to the chopper.
Yeah.
To the chopper.
So,
Tyler, you and me, buddy.
you guys are in
Let's
this.
go.
So we are group rating this modern day 7.25, which takes us
Give me it.
okay,
Give me it.
slightly better than Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Slightly worse than Point Break.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll watch.
I'm comfortable there.
I'm gonna watch Point Break before I watch this. I'm gonna
Probably
watch
me
this
too.
before I watch Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm with you.
Can I ask a specific question?
Okay.
Where does this stack up against Running Man?
Oh, Running Man is a 5.83.
Okay,
This was a 6.25, or what did we say? 7.25.
7.25.
Just
Okay.
for the record, just so people know how really smart we are, Santa Claus is 7.33. So Santa Claus is better than this movie.
That makes sense. Tim Allen is a god, so
I think after every year we should be allowed one like revision where we can, like Sean can go back and be like, here's my one change.
Okay.
we get to have a Rajiv from the grave. That's what we get to have.
Well, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next Wednesday for another great episode. It's been a while, but it is mini bite time.
Let's do
Been a
it.
while.
We've got we're like nostalgic overload for you. We're going to talk 80s, 90s toys.
Yep.
Let's go, baby.
And then to celebrate summertime, I have personally come with a 10, modern day 10 rating, Weekend at Bernie's, just waiting to happen. This is one of my favorite movies ever. It gives me great memories. We're going to review that. And if you are new to the podcast, go back this time last year, Blank Check.
Oh no!
That is
Yeah.
a fun episode.
I
it's
implore you to listen to that.
Coincidental, we did with Blank Check, and we happened to do Predator today. So
Blank Check is, for the record, Predator was a 7.25. Blank Check was a 2.82 for our modern day ratings. So, and that made for some great discussion. Also, we have, if you go to our website, we have put our rating system on there now.
Yeah.
So you can actually click on it and see where we've been and where we've gone with that. So have
No
some
more
fun
need
with
for
that.
Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb.
This
You got
is
it
the
right
new
there.
list.
Yep.
This is your new list.
definitive.
Yep.
Definitive. That's right.
Thanks.
Ooh.
All right, guys, you can check us out.
All right, guys. All right, guys.
All right, guys. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave a review on the podcast platform of your choice right now.
Also, we have merch. You know you want to rep the Confused Breakfast in public. Mugs, stickers, shirts, all kinds of goodies. Go to confusedbreakfast.com for a direct link.
And don't forget about our voicemail number, 319-804-9596. Links to everything you could ever need from us are in the show notes or at confusedbreakfast.com. This includes a way to follow all of us individually in our personal projects that we want you to check out. Mission of the day, tell your friends about us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.